Good morning, everyone. Uh, my daughter is not feeling well. She has a cold. Yeah, it's funny. She came home yesterday for lunch. Says, "Mom, I'm going to take a COVID test." I wonder if everybody has COVID tests now in their cabinets, but they do here. And she was negative. I'm going, yeah, you just have a cold. I said, where'd you pick that up? And I'm going, don't hug me. I don't want it. Anyway, so she's home, not feeling. She went back to work yesterday and just came home, and you just tell she was not feeling well. And 12-hour shifts. Wow, that's got to be rough when you have to work so many hours. And so she's home today. So one can say, "Oh, I have a free day, no baby duty." Yes, I'm going to have baby duty anyway because I'm going to make it so. And I'm going to make sure that my daughter gets the rest that she needs. Yes. Uh, so we're going to have a quiet day. It's cold and rainy out there today, which is fine. I like days like this too. It's almost as if then you're being encouraged to stay warm or do some things that you wouldn't really do otherwise because it's nice outside and you want to be outside doing things. At least that's how it is for me. Anyway, so it'll be fun. But probably, as I said, I'm gonna make sure that she gets enough rest and sleep and just, right. And because tomorrow she has that second interview. So, oh, why does she have to get sick now? You don't get over a cold in a day, okay? But hopefully it'll all go well. If she rests today, then tomorrow, yes. Anyway. uh, my son-in-law yesterday. So when we went to the farm, it also happened to be my son-in-law's mother's 70th birthday, and my 60th birthday is coming up next month. I told him, I said, "Oh, your mom's 10 years older than I am," but we both have the same around birthday, right? Yes, okay, I'm just saying. And the little one there, his sister has two children, and the older one, that's about close to 2 years old, I think. She was not feeling well. She has a cold and a head cold and a fever. This and so my son-in-law asked me, says, "So, what did you do when your children were sick?" And I remember when my children were sick. First of all, I didn't go and run to the medicine cabinet. Okay, we didn't have one. I always went with the homeopathic stuff, which works great in children because their systems are still so new and pure. And that's how the homeopathic stuff works. Uh, is that you no caffeine, very little sugar, no alcohol, all this other stuff, and then homeopathics work really, really well. That's why in a lot of adults, even if they wanted to go that route, you're wasting your money because you have to be, and it's not like, oh, you can never do any of these things, right? It's more, uh, there has to be a 8 hour at least period where you have to abstain of certain things, and then it works. But who does that, right? No caffeine. I'm just saying. And so in children, though, because as I said, their systems are still so much more pure, the homeopathics really work well. That's what I used on my children. But the one thing was when they would get sick, would have a place on the couch ready for them, and that's where they stayed. They weren't running. Okay, they weren't feeling well enough to run around this and that. Mostly, what they did was sleep, eat a little, and have always made sure when they were little like that that the bottle was there so that they would get enough fluids. And my children would get overall anything that they had, sick stomach, colds, which colds was the most common thing. My children really didn't get many ear infections or anything like that. Very, very few, considering I had 4 children. I can't even remember that my youngest one ever had one until she developed a swimmer ear. That was a whole different story. But we took care of that as well without antibiotics, this or that, by doing the method with the vinegar and what is it? Vinegar, water, and alcohol. Yeah, you know, the, not alcohol, the other stuff that you get. And it would draw out that water and she would be fine. Then we learned you can get plugs for your ears so she still go swimming, do whatever, because for some reason that's always been a little bit of a problem for her then. So, so I told them, I said, yeah, they just planted them somewhere where they weren't all alone in a room or whatever, but where they could get the rest. And for some reason, my children didn't fight that. As I said, they were sick enough that they would stay on the couch and just sleep and just be apart a little bit and of everything. And I think the reason for that too is when you give children cold medicine, it makes everything disappear. It makes the symptoms disappear, but they're still sick. And then they run around this and that, and I think that then they just don't ever really recover. So anyway, that's what I told my son-in-law. I said, this is what I did. And yeah, anyway, there you go. So that's what I'm going to do with my daughter. Still my child. I'm going to plant her on the couch and say, you're not doing anything today. You're just going to take care of your body and yourself and rest. So, yes. Anywho, so here we are in, probably going to work on the advent calendars a little bit. Ooh, that'll be fun. Okay. Oh, I made, last night, I have to tell you guys, the most amazing roasted chicken. We got a whole chicken, and I thought, I want to do this really right. I don't just want it, because chicken is it's a bit difficult to get good taste into chicken. And so I watched a video, and a guy on there says, you start your oven at 450, and then you turn it down to 425, and you leave it in there for about an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and 30 minutes. I'm going, what? I was going to burn down the house? Okay, just saying, that's pretty high. Then I watched another one, and this lady cut the back of the chicken, or the bottom of the chicken, open, and 340 for about the same amount of time. I'm going, huh? Okay, I'm getting two really different things. Also, I stuffed mine with cabbage and garlic, and I put something else in there, and I can't remember. It was the same last time. What else did I put in there? And spices, and stuffed the chicken. I told a couple other people, said, hey, what? You've never heard of that? And I thought, I wonder how that's going to come out. And it tasted delicious. And it gave the chicken from the inside. It was then seasoned from the inside as well. And then we had made our own barbecue sauce a while back for steaks, and we still had some of that. I'm just going to stick that over top of the chicken. I watched another video, and it was the same, 425, for so long. And I'm going, okay, I'm going to go with the majority. And I did. And in the second video, the lady also showed on how if the chicken gets a little too browned on top, or, that you don't want, then just put a little aluminum foil over top, just not cover the whole chicken, just where it's kind of getting too brown. So I did all that. And the reason to do it like that is because then you get that crispy skin. Yes. Oh, that was the most flavorful chicken I have ever eaten. It was so good. Everybody loved it. And the cabbage, in there with whatever. It was so delicious. Yeah, I put some turmeric in it. My daughter really likes turmeric for some reason. That's because she read up on it and it's really good for you, and it is. So I stuck some turmeric in it. It was delicious. It was just delicious. And I got a whole box from the farm with these little sweet potatoes that my sis was going to cook up for the pigs. And I said, no, I want those. So, and they are delicious. So I stuck those in there instead of just potatoes or whatever, and some onions. And amazing. It was just amazing. It was amazing on how well that came out. I was so proud of myself. Everybody loved it. It's amazing, just amazing. Then I made some rice with it, and which also was really, really good because I threw some taco seasoning in there. Oh, it tasted great with the chicken. Anywho, so there we are. Another great bake. I've never done it like this before, but I'm so grateful for the people who take the time. Yeah. But again, I just want to alert people, watch 2 or 3 videos with something. Yeah, I said that high temperature, man. I've never cooked the chicken on that such high temperature for so long. Anyway, came out great. Loved it. So probably will never make it like that again. So I asked my granddaughter this morning before she left, what do you want for dinner? What would you like to have for dinner? She really helped me out a lot last night with the little one, so I could cook. And because everybody else was still at work. And she says, I want spaghetti, but I want it with your sauce. And I said, oh. I thought, oh, because I always make my own tomato sauce. And I said, well, you know, Grozy, right? It never comes out exactly the same as the last time. She says, well, that's what I love. So that's what we're going to have tonight. And there you go. Anywho, so we are in the book of Job. Let's get going here. Oh, so why do I tell all this? Maybe, due to the fact that I am getting older and physically, I have some limitations now. I don't have that zest anymore to, even if I have it, it wouldn't matter. My body just says, yeah, good luck with that one, right? Yes. And, but I still have that zest within me for whatever I do and I tackle. And I just apply it now in different areas, like cooking. I really enjoy cooking for the family here. I just do. Right? And other things as well that I can do now, yeah? With zest, always with zest. Yes. I love that. I just love it. I love that quality about me. So, even if we just change a little bit direction when it comes to certain things, we don't have to be lesser than we used to in our younger years. We just apply things and our gifts, our talents, our zest, and then in different areas, right? Yes? Okay. As I said, I'm on here to brag about my life and how things are going good and how great man. It's not about that. It's just let people know, look, life's just, it's great, but you got to put the work in to it. Yes? Okay. All right. Next. We're in the book of Job 40. And I have to say, when my daughter said, I'm not going to work today, Mom, I'm just not feeling well enough. And I'm glad that she doesn't pump herself full of medication and says, well, I have to go to work. So another thing I taught my children, no, you don't. That's not needed. Yes. And if one works for an employer that does not have compassion for something like that, then you need to find another job. And you know what? You will. Okay. I realized that I wasn't able to do the reading this morning. I woke up a little later than I thought. And then when I realized, oh, my daughter's not going, so I can go over to the house. I realized on how much I enjoy actually doing this as well. Even though, right, I'm going, ugh, I wish we were done with this book. I really, really enjoy it more and more doing this, loving it, wanting to do it. Yes. All right. So, Book Job. Get going here. I just talk and talk and talk. And another thing I like to do. 40. It's continued. It's still under Job must bow to the Creator's wisdom. Still speaking to Job, Yahweh said, is Yahweh's opponent going to give way? Has God's critic thought up an answer? Job replied to Yahweh, my words have been frivolous. What can I reply? I had better lay my hand over my mouth. I have spoken once, I shall not speak again. I have spoken twice, I have nothing more to say. Okay. Well, was God really speaking to Job here? It's a masterpiece of poetry. We can make up anything we want to. But the thing is again, when Job then speaks to Yahweh, if God really talks to you, right, as it is said here, and again, it's not a real story, I get it. Wouldn't you be just completely in awe and go, I've been heard, actually? Yes? And what was Job's reply? It wasn't, oh, dear Father, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I've let myself go like that when it comes to speaking. Please forgive me. Even though I'm in the shape that I'm in, I should stay humble. Yes? Just saying. But that's not what it says here. Yeah? Okay, just saying. What is this? What kind of give and take is that Job has with, according to the person who wrote this masterpiece of poetry, with God? Second discourse. God is master of the forces of evil. Yahweh gave Job his answer from the heart of the tempest. He said, brace yourself like a fighter. I'm going to ask the questions and you are to inform me. Do you really want to reverse my judgment? Put me in the wrong and yourself in the right. Has your arm the strength of God's? Can your voice thunder as loud? Come on, display your majesty and grandeur. Robe yourself in splendor and glory. Let the fury of your anger burst forth. Humble the haughty at a glance. At a glance bring down all the proud. Strike down the wicked where they stand. Okay, wait a second. You see, this doesn't have anything to do. God would never respond like this. Can you humble people like I can? Well, obviously not, because of how Job answered. Job didn't answer actually with a sincere humbleness in his heart than here, above here. My words have been frivolous. What can I reply? I had better lay my hand over my mouth. I have spoken once, I shall not speak again. I have spoken twice, I have nothing more to say. Is that when God talks to you? Or does that sound like, well, God talked to Job here, according to that humble Job? That doesn't sound like that. Yet here, can you humble the people out there? Well, God doesn't even, God couldn't even do that with Job. But yet here, I'm just saying, you see how this is just so not, no. It's okay, it's all right, let's just keep reading. Buried a lot of them in the ground. God would never talk like that. Shut them, every one, in the dungeon. And I shall be the first to pay you homage, since your own right and his strong and since your own right hand is strong enough to save you. Okay, so God's actually putting Job in his place here, right? Yes, but he's bringing up things that I'm going, but God wouldn't do that either. No, never ever would he do that. That's not God. That's then what are we following actually? Oh, that's more The influence of whom here, when it comes down to it, to tempt us and this and that and I don't know what. And I say, well, can you do this? But you are evil things. Putting people in dungeons, I don't care how wicked that's evil. All right, we put people in prison. Do you know what a dungeon is? You ever been in a dungeon and seen what they do there? Okay, that's not teaching people. I'm just saying. Behemoth. Okay, that's an overtitle. But look at Behemoth, my creature, just as you are. He feeds on green stuff like the ox. But what strength he has in his loins, what power in his stomach muscles. No idea where this is going. His tail is as stiff as a cedar. The sinews of his thighs are tightly knit. His bones are bronze tubes, his frame like forged iron. He is the first of the works of God. His maker threatened him with the sword, forbidding him the mountain regions and all the wild animals that play there. Under the lotus he lies. He hides among the reeds in the swamps. The leaves of the lotus give him shade. The willows by the stream shelter him. If the river overflows, he does not worry. Jordan might come up to his mouth, but he would not care. Who is going to catch him by the eyes or put poles through his nose? Okay. Now we're talking about what fantasy creatures. Leviathan. Leviathan too. Can you catch him with a fishhook or hold his tongue down with a rope? What is all this pagan stuff doing in here? Can you put a cane through his nostrils or pierce his jaw with a hook? Will he plead lengthily with you, addressing you in different tones? Will he strike a bargain with you to become your slave for life? Will you make a pet of him like a bird? Keep him on a lead to amuse your little girls? Is he to be sold by the fishing guild and then retailed by merchants? Riddle his hide with darts or his head with fishing spears. You have only to lay a finger on him, never to forget the struggle or risk it again. And that is the end of 40. You know what? I'm going to keep going here and finish this up because I ain't going to, this is just, so that was the end of 40. Now we're going to 41. Any hope you might have would be futile because it keeps right on going. The mere sight of him would overwhelm you. When roused, he grows ferocious. Who could ever stand up to him? Who has ever attacked him with impunity? No one beneath all heaven. Next I will talk of his limbs and describe his matchless strength. Who can undo the front of his tunic or pierce the double armor of his breastplate? Who dare open the gates of his mouth? Terror reigns around his teeth. His back is like rows of shields, sealed with a stone seal, touching each other so close that no breath could pass between, sticking to one another, making an impervious whole. I have no idea what this means, but it's going. I know Behemoth and Leviathan, they are... Okay, I'm not even going to go there. His sneezes radiate light. His eyes are like the eyelashes of the dawn. From his mouth come fiery torches. Sparks of fire fly out of it. Really? His nostrils belch smoke like a cauldron boiling on the fire. His breath could kindle coals. Why not just stick with actual stuff? Learn how to roast a chicken. Okay. His breath could kindle coals. Flame issues from his mouth. His strength resides on his neck. Violence leaps before him as he goes. When he stands up, the waves take fright and the billows of the sea retreat. The strips of his flesh are jointed together, firmly set in and immovable. His heart is as hard as a rock, unyielding as the lower millstone. Sword may strike, but will not stick in him. No more will spear, javelin, or lance. Iron means no more to him than straw, nor bronze than rotten wood. No arrow can make him flee. A sling stone tickles him like hay. Club seems to him like straw. He laughs at the whirling javelin. This dude needs to lay off the booze or something. He has sharp potsherds underneath. Potsherds underneath, and moves across the slime like a harrow. A little fly, baby fly visiting me here. Are you hatched still? Huh? It's so cold out there. That's why I'm in here. God bless you. Happy we have all them plants here, huh? Yeah. I could close this book and kill it right now, but I'm not going to do that. Why? It's just a little fly. Kind of cute. Just walking around pages here. Just because we're stronger. What a good lesson right here. What am I reading here? And here's this little, tiny little baby fly just walking across. Let's see. Oh, it's going up now. See right there? See it? Just walking across here. And, oh, what a pesky thing. It's not bothering me at all. So here I am. Who am I? I have all the strength, this and that. You know, I could easily take care of this right now. That little thing has no idea what's going on here right now, except for it's hanging around, what? Yes, God's word or someone's words. Oh, where you going? There, it flew off. It's what? Oh, no, there it is again. We're going to live, what, a couple of days? It's so cold now, they're not going to survive. So what? I'm going to squash it? For what reason? What reason would I have? What reason would God have to squash any of his children? Regardless. Oh, what a nice little... Alrighty, dear, I gotta get going. He has sharp potsherds underneath and moves across the slime like a harrow. He makes the depths seethe like a cauldron. He makes the sea fume like a scent burner. Behind him he leaves a glittering wake. A white fleece seems to float on the deeps. He has no equal on earth, being created without fear. He looks the haughtiest in the eye of all the lordly beasts. He is king. Which also, it kind of, this reminds me of this little fly here. It's cruising all around, just walking on. How do we use the strength that we have, the intelligence and the wisdom as human beings we're supposed to have to take care of the principles of creation given to us by whom? Yes? Squash the little fly? Wow. That would be really not a victory, huh? Yes? Or just look at it for what it is, another little one of God's creations, and that baffles me right now. Where are you going? Huh? Oh, gonna land on me? All right. So that was the end of 41, and we're going to 42. Job's final answer, because I want to be done with this book. Oh, and a little fly had flown off, probably going back to one of the plants. This was the answer Job gave to Yahweh. I know that you are all-powerful. What you conceive, you can perform. I was the man who misrepresented your intentions with my ignorant words. Oh, here comes the humbly-bumbly now. You have told me about great works that I cannot understand, about marvels which are beyond me, of which I know nothing. Listen, please, and let me speak. I am going to ask you questions, and you are to inform me. Oh, that is in parentheses, as you know, supposedly God had said before too. Before I knew you only by hearsay, but now, having seen you with my own eyes, I retract what I have said and repent in dust and ashes. Well. Okay, so the last part here, this is the end of 42, the last one. There is 5, the epilogue, and we're going to read that too, and then we're going to be in the Psalms. So here's the end of it. We had this big long book of Job just to come to the end, where what I'm kind of getting here is you're going to be unhappy. You're going to be in despair. You're going to be discouraged. And you're going to do and say some things. Hopefully not, saying things. You're going to do and say some things. And I guess the hope would be that one comes to the realization that even though there are some things in life that you go on, when you go on and get older, you can't do anymore, there are other avenues available to still be you. Yes? So, and indemnity, repentance, being forgiven, to forgive, are all things that are part of the restoring way. Of course, here's one thing: you continue doing the same thing, and then just think that you can just go ahead and say sorry every time afterwards. That doesn't cut it. We should learn from our mistakes. We should learn from our arrogance, yes, when it comes to certain things, and then not do them again, ever. Just saying. Okay, now let's read the epilogue. Yeah. Spirit World's okay with me finishing this book up faster. Oh, there you go. I wouldn't want my daughter to get sick just so that I can do this. That would not be okay. But it is as it is, and my daughter needs a day of rest maybe before tomorrow. Okay, so 5, epilogue of the book of Job. Yahweh rebukes the 3 sages. When Yahweh had finished saying this to Job, he said to Eliphaz of Teman, I burn with anger against you and your 2 friends, for not having spoken correctly about me as my servant Job has done. So now find 7 bullocks and 7 rams, and take them back with you to my servant Job, and make a burnt offering for yourselves, while Job, my servant, offers prayers for you. I shall show him favor, and shall not inflict my displeasure on you for not having spoken about me correctly, as my servant Job has done. Eliphaz of Teman, Bildad of Shua, and Saphar of Naamath went away to do as Yahweh had ordered, and Yahweh listened to Job with favor. Oh, what a turn of events here. I see where this is going, per se, and why, whoever wrote this down would say that, well, Job, okay, that's it. Let's go back to here one more time. Listen, please, and let me speak. I am going to ask the questions, and you are to inform me. Right? So, it backtracks a little bit to, are we not allowed to voice our concerns about on how things are going with certain things that, well, if God's so almighty, why doesn't he step in? We talked about this. It's because we all, as human beings, have freedom of will, freedom of choice, and God will not interfere with that. The consequences aren't because God doesn't step in. The consequences are because we are the ones who make really bad choices. Yes? The really, really bad consequence is that when we make a bad choice and people who are innocent, like children, are paying the price. I tell you what, it's going to be a bad one when we go to Spirit World. Yes. Ooh. Anyway. Just saying. Yahweh restores Job's fortunes. And Yahweh restored Job's condition while Job was interceding for his friends. More than that, Yahweh gave him double what he had before, and all his brothers and all his sisters and all his friends of former times came to see him. How did he restore? Yeah, see, that doesn't make any sense. That sounds really good. But didn't he lose all his sons as well? Did he bring them back to life? It's just a story. Over dinner in his house, they showed their sympathy and comforted. Oh my gosh. Comforted him for all the evils Yahweh had inflicted on him. This is why I'm reading this. There's no way that God would ever inflict evil on anyone. See how this is written down? Each of them gave him a silver coin and each a gold ring. Yahweh blessed Job's latter condition even more than his former one. He came to own 14,000 sheep, 6,000 camels, 1,000 yoke of oxen, and 1,000 she-donkeys. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters. His first daughter he called Turtle Dove, the second Cassia, and the third Mascara. I'm sorry. Throughout the land there were no women as beautiful as the daughters of Job, and their father gave them inheritance rights like their brothers. So what does that mean? He didn't he have a wife? It never says anything about a wife, right? Yeah? I don't know. Did it? Did it? I can't remember. So what? He threw his old wife away because she's too old to have more kids. But men can have kids until what? I don't know, old age. And he got himself what? Something younger? So he could have sons and daughters again? Okay, come on. No. Let's see. And their father gave them inheritance rights like their brothers. After this, Job lived for another 140 years and saw his children and his children's children to the fourth generation. Then, old and full of days, Job died. Okay, yeehaw! Done with this. Not saying any more about it. Ugh. God almighty. What a tale. But that is that. Now we're in Psalms. I don't know. Should we get excited about it? Let's get excited about it. Book of Job. Done with that. How interesting. What I find interesting is that even though in the beginning it's clearly God and Satan that were fighting. Okay, God would never fight with Satan. Oh my gosh. Ugh. Poor choice of words. I don't know. Again, we need to say it like this. It needs to be said like this in there so that it's okay for us to fight, right? Yes? Okay. But then throughout the whole story, where is actually Satan? It's all put in God's shoes. God's the one who inflicts evil on people. That's what it says. Bad translation? I don't know. That's what it says it in there. How are people supposed to understand that? The God I know, the heavenly parent, the heavenly father, the heavenly mother that I know, the creator, the artist of it all, will never hurt you. Ever. Never. Ever. And that is something that people just need to learn. That's what needs to be in your heart. It seems to me that with this attitude towards God, that he will inflict punishment on the evil and the wicked and the this and the that. Okay. That then we have a foundation. We create then a foundation to be resentful and angry with God. Kind of like Job was. But it's resentment and anger and grudges and I don't know what placed in the wrong place. Placed where it doesn't belong. Right? Yeah. So again, reminding everyone I'm reading this for the reputation of God. So there. And when there are hardships in our life, we should always have to take a good look at why is it like this? What happened exactly? And we'll find that it has never anything to do with God. It's always, the blame is always on our side. It's always on our side. And the conditions in order for God to be in our life as the omnipotent and omniscient God, unchanging, all loving, we're the ones that have to build a home for God to be able to be there. And otherwise, we're closing the door and rejecting God. Well, what's God supposed to do? Blow your house down? Like the wolf and the three little pigs? I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down. Yes? We should not portray God like that. That's not a good thing. I think I'm pretty sure that considering that the embrace that God has ready for all of us, each one of us, I'm sure that's very, very hurtful to God. So I'd say that instead of, oh, God's hurting Job, we should think the other way. Job's hurting God. We are hurting God. It'll never be the other way around. Ever. Yes? I'm going to finish with that. Finish the book of Job. Yay, yay, yay. May Heavenly Parent bless and protect you and embrace you with love. And I will talk to you all, God willing, tomorrow in song.